In this video, I'll show you the most common crimes expats face in 17 popular expat countries, and then at the end of the video, we'll give you the best expat prevention behaviors that will help you stop looking like a somebody that can be easily fooled and targeted. We don't want you to be a sitting duck. Hello and welcome to our Retire Early lifestyle. If you're moving abroad, the goal isn't to live in fear. And if you're going into a high crime situation, which many countries on the Retire Abroad media list now are, it's awareness. Being an aware expat doesn't just mean looking around with your eyes. You need to know what types of crimes are happening in the city you're moving to. Analyze the types of crimes that are actually already happening in your chosen locale, so you can take the appropriate precautions as an expat. We're going to start with Latin America. In Mexico, the most common crimes are robbery, car theft, extortion, taxi scams, burglary, and there is some incidents of kidnapping risk. Costa Rica has theft, vehicle break-ins, burglaries, and tourist scams. Colombia has robbery, express kidnapping, dating, drugging scams, and phone theft. And Ecuador has robbery, kidnapping, extortion, and pickpocketing. And they're all high. Now note, Costa Rica and Ecuador also have home invasions, especially in tourist neighborhoods and in some isolated areas like on the coast. So remember now, many crimes go unreported and are not tallied into the crime stats. And don't forget, at the end of the video, we'll give you the best ways to prevent these crimes and scams from happening to you. Now moving on to Asia, with the most common crimes against expats in 3 popular expat countries, Thailand has rental scams, motorcycle theft, romance, dating scams, and even marriage scams, pickpocketing, and nightlife fraud. The Philippines has theft and scams and petty robbery, occasional kidnapping risk in some areas, and marriage and romance scams. Indonesia has phone snatching, scooter theft, tourist scams, and burglary. Thailand actually is becoming more crime-ridden as we deliver this video information to you, so be aware it also has medium to high crime in the touristy areas where the opportunities are ripe for scams and street crimes. Finally, moving on to the most common crimes in the most popular expat countries in Europe, France has pickpocketing, phone theft, scooter theft, and burglary. Italy, pickpocketing, bag theft, rental scams, and burglary. Spain, pickpocketing, robbery, apartment theft, and tourist scams. And Portugal has petty theft, apartment burglary, and tourist scams. Now, it's showing medium risk of these street crimes in France, Italy, and Spain, and Portugal, but they actually all have high incidence of pickpocketing of the tourist and newbie traveler. The low to medium risk of getting pickpocketed is only for those seasoned travelers who are more aware of what's going on around them, and now, of course, you, our viewers, also know from watching our videos that the minute you get off the plane, your risk of having something stolen from your person or getting scammed is actually fairly high in the touristy areas of Europe. Bad apples love the newbie travelers. It's how they make the bulk of their money. Now take note, France and Spain also have high incidence of home invasions of tourists and expats by gangs of robbers and thieves. On the Riviera, France has some of the most high-end thefts of wealthy foreigners and their luxury valuables. We're talking high-end gold jewelry and $60,000 to $100,000 Rolex watches, and of course cash. You see why foreigners are the target for thievery and scams now, right? High-end or not, there's a bad apple gang ready to pounce. Now in the United Kingdom, there's phone snatching, theft, burglary, and card fraud. Germany has pickpocketing, bicycle theft, scams, and burglary. Belgium has robbery, phone theft, burglary, drug-related violence in some city areas. And Sweden has car theft, robbery, organized gang-related violence in some areas. Greece has pickpocketing, theft, fraud, tourist areas, and scams. And Netherlands has a high rate of bike theft, pickpocketing, scams, and burglary. Now take note, it didn't show that there are sexual attacks and assaults and violence in these countries in Europe now, but there is. Rape has gone up by like 500% in most of these countries. So I don't know why it didn't list those here, so we have to add that on there. Now, saying these countries have low to medium crime is an understatement. That's what the internet is reporting. However, when we know from analyzing actual crimes, it's much worse than what they portray. Just understanding that the internet influencers need to minimize all this crime so the tourists won't want to quit taking vacations or moving to their countries is the big tell. In Spain, for example, they received $159 billion in tourist revenue in 2025. Wow! Spain is a lovely country, but so are many other countries in the same region. And yet, because Spain is on the top 10 global retirement index of the RAMs, Retire Abroad media and magazines, and highly peddled by the influencers who are looking to relocate American retirees there, these are the results. It appears everyone and their dog wants to move to or travel to Spain within the expat community. You can thank the RAMs and their global indexes for that. Spain breaks tourism record with 96.8 million visitors in 2025. The income from foreign visitors reached $159 billion between January and December in 2025, says the Ministry of Tourism. Have you ever asked yourself, though, how does all that money fall back onto the local people? And the quick answer is, it doesn't. Not really. The bulk of tourism revenue goes to the government, and the entrepreneurs, they get richer, and the common folks like you and me get shut out. In a nutshell, the only people who gain from all the tourism are the tourist operators, restaurant and hotel owners, landlords, Airbnb peddlers, real estate developers, and investors. The rest, the common working folk that are already marginal, which are the majority of folks, it can be devastating on their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, also known as their existence. A notable consequence of over-tourism is the housing crisis that it can cause. This is a pattern playing out from Venice, Italy, to cities across Spain, where short-term rentals outpace long-term housing availability in tourist destinations. For example, in Barcelona, platforms like Airbnb systematically convert residential neighborhoods into short-term rental markets, driving up housing costs and displacing working-class residents. Barcelona residents now spend a disproportionate amount of their income on rent because houses are increasingly converted from residential to tourist housing. That's how it works. Now you didn't hear it just from us. It's quite surprising that people are still traveling to Spain amid all of the protests against over-tourism and gentrification. The Spanish police are now going against their own people who are protesting against the over-tourism, which the Spaniards are calling an invasion. The solution? Quit going to Spain. It's not the only place on earth that has nice beaches and landscapes. Why are we still going to Spain when we know it's harming the local people the way it does? The protests are becoming more and more violent as well. Protesters fought with officers. One clip saw a protester being whacked with a baton before another jumped at a police officer. Angry protesters were seen leaping over barriers, and police were seen hitting several people in response. Rioters threw bottles at the police, and rubber bullets were shot into the crowd to disperse them. I'll tell you what, we just wouldn't go there. We wouldn't want to go there. And this brings me to the crime levels in Spain, which are out of control. Does it have something to do with all the tourism? Absolutely. Tourists are the targets for crimes of opportunity. So what is tourism crime? Well, tourists are attractive targets because they carry cash, cards, and valuables. And they're unfamiliar with the local risks, and they're always usually distracted by leisure and all the activities and just all the sights. So tourists are the preferred targets because in general they carry large amounts of money or other valuables and often carry them visibly in public and in a relaxed way. Tourists are more vulnerable. The probability of a tourist reporting a crime to the local police is lower compared to a local resident. Now, we talked about that in a couple videos back where we showed you that crimes against tourists and expats in many of these countries are very, very much underreported. Tourists in general ignore many normal security precautions. Tourists also have difficulty identifying assailants or aggressors, and tourists rarely return to the country to testify in the case of a criminal getting arrested or whatever. So that's why the expats and the tourists are targeted. Now that you know the types of crimes are in the country you're moving to, we're going to give you the best expat prevention behaviors that will help you stop looking like somebody that can be easily fooled for a crime or a scam. It's just 3 big things that can and will prevent you from being that next expat victim. Plus, we're also going to give you one big bonus. So number 1 is blend in. Well, what does blending in really mean? Well, there are several ways we can keep the attention off of us when we're in another country, and blending into our surroundings is the best way. Why give the bad apples any opportunity to cause us harm? So what causes us to stand out besides our pasty skin and our American English can be what we are wearing. Before moving to a country, we should find videos and photos of how the locals dress, and then our attire should look pretty much in a similar way. I have to say the flowery man shirts and the women's short shorts paired with flip-flops makes you a target of a scam from the get-go. Let me tell you something. The bad apples love tourist crowds, and they will try to scam the person or individuals that stand out the most. He's looking for vulnerability, and that could be the lady wearing revealing attention-getting clothing, looking completely lost, or the man wearing a colorful Hawaiian shirt while talking in English on his flashy phone. To the thief, that spells newcomer or tourist, and that spells easy to scam. And guess what? They usually are. Number 2, don't be predictable. If you move somewhere permanently, that means you'll be going out to do shopping, errands, eating out at your favorite spots, and either biking, walking, taking the public transportation, and taxis. And remember, always keep your valuables out of sight. I wouldn't wear flashy jewelry, watches, rings, earrings, anything like that. 2 rules. Never take the same routes more than a few times in a row. Change up your schedule a bit every couple of days. And number 2, never hail a taxi off the street, especially in Latin America. Kidnap, express, and other taxi robberies are quite common in foreign countries. The bad apples think they are invincible because you're the foreigner and you're the tourist. And really, tourists and expats are more vulnerable because they simply do not know the risks and pockets of vulnerabilities in the countries they're traveling to. Number 3, strengthen your nuts and bolts. Use secure housing. We've always lived in the local middle-class neighborhoods, even in Mexico. We've only had problems with burglars in Ecuador the last few years we were living there. But there are reasons for that, and the biggest reason is because they put in a tienda right across the street from our house. And so everyone going in there to buy pop or alcohol now knows where the gringos live. It was only after they put that little convenience store in that we started having any problems. And keep backups of your documents. Don't carry around originals. The passport is a highly desired document, just like your cell phone now. The most commonly stolen items from travelers in Europe is wallets, phones, and passports due to their high value and ease of concealment by the thieves. They can just grab it and run. It's easy to carry, so they can just run off real quick. And always stay alert in transit tourist areas. That's an area where a lot of thieving goes on. And here's the big bonus for your safety and security that we have for you today. Please don't stand on a corner staring at a map, or worse, a GPS on your phone, just trying to figure out where you are. Figure out your map before you leave the house or apartment, and only go short distances at first. Initially, stick to only one street and then go back and forth on that street several times. Then add more streets incrementally. Once you're really familiar with those streets, and you've gone around back and forth a few times, you can branch out from there. This will help you walk around and look like a local, confident in your stride, because you know the area and you know where you're going. They can tell who has confidence and who doesn't when they're out and about walking around. So we always have to look like we have confidence and we know where we're going. Don't underestimate this technique. We've used it ourselves in our 13 years of travel and living abroad. Well, we've had to, because we've been walking around on the back roads before on the coast of Ecuador, and there was like 5 guys coming towards us and they acted kind of funny. So you have to act like you know where you're going and like you have a set appointment or something. You're not just a strolling expat. So you can be a sitting duck, or you can be a savvy traveler who avoids being that duck just sitting there that just got taken advantage of or harmed in some way. It's up to you. But we want you to stay safe and secure, and that's why we make videos like these. We hope you got something from this informational video today. Take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.